Hey everybody, this is Greg with Medical Muscle, and I'm going to break down how I go through lectures at St. George University. So for the last 3 months, I was fully online. So I had a very different way of going through lectures than I do currently on the island in Term 4. So let's first start off how I did it online, if you happen to be online. In either situation, if you're online or in person, you've probably experienced this. The lectures go extremely fast, maybe 2-3 times faster than the speed of a lecture in undergrad. It's not conducive for taking notes. In reality, it's just impossible. I found that out really early. You're maybe finding that out now. So when I was online, I would wait until the lecture was done. In reality, I'd be doing other things like working out or something. I'd have it in the background. I wasn't paying attention tremendously, because I didn't need to. I wasn't like in an active class. So I would wait until the recording came out and then comb through that recording to make sure that I hit every single thing that the teacher said, be able to pause it, all that stuff. That's why it worked so well for me. Now that I'm in person, it's very different. But I want to say that I think this way of going through lectures has been a lot more efficient. So now I have to be active. I'm in person. You have to be there. You have to be there present for the clicker questions. You should. So I just sit there and I listen. Not taking notes again, because again, way too fast. So I sit there and just listen. And while I'm watching a lecture, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to study the material. Am I going to just be able to do this straight into Anki, go from lecture material straight into Anki? Or am I going to have to work this through on a whiteboard first? It depends. So some material that's very easy, really easy, I just take screenshots or type the information straight into Anki, okay? Simple as that. Just standard, taking notes, bam, boom, boom. If the material is really hard, I spend a lot more time, especially if it's not just hard, but it's a big list. Like again, drugs, okay? Drugs. Drugs don't work in Anki. For me, that's what I've experienced. Do not work in Anki. You need to learn it. You need to go over it extensively, like in a whiteboard situation first, and then turn it into Anki cards after. So with the whiteboarding, I list out the drug, or I try to organize everything into one big whiteboard, try to put the whole lecture into one big whiteboard. And then I have all my little categories, go through each one, and just try to rewrite everything. I've noticed a lot of people struggle with memorizing some of these drugs. This has helped me get over that hump. It's a little bit more work. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it definitely sticks in my brain a lot better than if I just made a card and just tried to memorize the name that way. Okay, that's how I've been doing this. The other benefit of doing it this way, where I'm sitting and listening to lecture, is I'm getting the full picture, because I'm not an avid pre-reader. I don't really do it because I mostly don't have the time, and also I don't want to learn something incorrectly. So I like to see the lecture from the teacher's, how the teacher goes through it. But while I'm sitting there, I'm soaking up the information. Sometimes I'll go out of order. So lecture 1 and 2, they're not related, they may be completely different topics. I'll go over lecture 2 first because I know that I can get that done faster or something, and better plan out my day, okay? If I have small group in 2 hours and I'm looking at the first lecture and I know that's gonna take me more than 2 hours to go through, then I'm gonna start with the second lecture and go out of order so that when I'm done with small group, then I'm gonna have plenty of time and I'm not gonna be disrupted, and I can go through that first lecture, longer lecture, in one big shot instead of getting broken up. So I get to plan my day better. I'm just sitting there thinking how I'm going to cover this stuff. The other thing of paying attention and sitting in live lecture is that I don't always have to go through the lecture recording. Sometimes I just sit there, listen, and then I can go through the slides and remember the things that they said. Now, if it's a really hard lecture and the teacher really made their slides not complete, which is the case for quite a bit, I do have to listen to the lecture again. But I try to avoid that as much as I can. If I think I can get away with just the slides and that material and remember what the teacher had said, the little fine details, then I'll go off of that. It's a lot faster, okay? So, that's how I go through this. I just go through the lectures. You just go through them, okay? I turn them into Anki cards. If you're taking notes, just comb through them, get every single note in there, okay? Now with Anki, what's nice is that Anki makes me review this material, okay? If you're doing standard notes, I don't know how you're gonna do it. You need to just go through your notes continuously every day, I assume, you know? But that's not how I study, so you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. Now, for really tough topics, on the weekends, I'll look at my whiteboards, especially like a big list, like drugs or diseases or whatever, like lists of information. I'll go over the weekend and then whiteboard those things again. Because from the previous whiteboard, I've taken a photo of it, turned it into Anki cards, and then I'm delving into the information and making sure that I understand everything. Okay, that's what I do on the weekends with lecture material. And then I might even do that at a third time, going into the weekend or a few days before an exam, okay? Just making sure that I hit all the hard stuff. I don't necessarily review the easy stuff. There's just not enough time. So I don't ever go back to the easy lectures that I thought, okay, I understood the material. I just make sure that I understood it through Anki. But if I felt like the lecture material was really hard and I'm not memorizing with Anki, or for some reason it's just not clicking, I'll go through it and whiteboard it out again. Okay, just the difficult material. You only have a limited amount of time. Spend it on the things that you're struggling with, not what you're good on. Don't spend time on the things that you're good on. All right, and obviously, use the questions to guide your knowledge and have study partners to test you to make sure that you're getting the whole picture, okay? Because sometimes you think you understand something and someone asks you a question about it and you go blank. That's a good thing to go study on, okay? So use questions and use study partners to figure out what you're weak at and then study it, okay? And also figure out what you're strong at so you don't need to study that. All right, so that's how I break down lectures. I hope that's straightforward, and I hope you guys kick butt on your exams in school. All right.